Hello, welcome to Temple University Japan campus Kyoto. I am Aoi Hatakeyama. Hatakeyama Aoi です。よろしくお願いします。I am an admission counselor at TUJ Kyoto, and I am here with...
Hi, this is William Swinton. I'm delighted to be here today. I'm the Assistant Dean of Leadership Initiatives at Temple University Japan Kyoto campus, and we are really excited to have a conversation about life at TUJ Kyoto, what our lives are like, and what people can expect from TUJ Kyoto.
Yeah, sure. And would you like to introduce yourself a little bit more? Like what kind of job you're in charge of?
Certainly. Thank you very much. As I mentioned, I'm an assistant dean, so I'm with the faculty at TUJ Kyoto. For many years, I was on the faculty at our Tokyo campus in the International Business Studies program. But we've come here to launch this campus and bring some leadership initiatives. So I run a leadership program. I'll be starting a graduate program. Happy to talk more about that later. But really looking at how do we build a community around our faculty and around our students. These are my responsibilities as assistant dean.
Sounds good.
So you're working in our admissions area. Can you talk a little bit about what you do and how you interact with potential students?
Sure. I am doing recruiting things at TUJ Kyoto. I am based in TUJ Kyoto. So I go to high schools in Kansai these days. And I have some info sessions, and I also in charge of open campus events at the campus and talk to parents, high school students, and introduce TUJ Kyoto as well as Tokyo, or main campus program as well. Yes.
Yeah, why don't we also talk a little bit about the Temple University. So let me get started. So Temple University is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and we have had a campus in Japan since 1982. We were the first American university to set up an operation here, and we're one of the longest-standing foreign universities recognized by the Japanese government in Japan. And we have not only campuses in Philadelphia, which is our base, and Tokyo, but we also have just launched this campus here in Kyoto, and we also have a campus in Rome. So it's a very global approach to education where our students can seamlessly go from one campus to another.
Right. That's really our unique point of the university. And TUJ Kyoto is just open January this year, 2025. And we are located in Fujinomori, so we are in Fushimi area and doing our very unique international American education there. So would you like to talk about your professional side a little bit?
Sure. I have a background in business, and I'm originally from New York, and I worked in New York City for many years before coming to Japan. I worked in the arts, in communications, and in marketing. So some people who have been to New York might be familiar with Lincoln Center. It's a performing arts center, one of the largest in the country. I was a marketing director there. I also worked in public television. So PBS, our public broadcasting system, is kind of the NHK of America. I worked with a documentary series there, and always my professional responsibilities have to do with promoting and marketing and bringing people into the field, into the focus, and into our projects. And then after having done that for many years, I love New York, but I was invited to come to Japan. I didn't have much of a background or understanding of Asia or Japan, but I was excited to come here. And my first work here was also in marketing communication for a business organization. And I'll talk a little bit about this more later, but I also became a student in that period. But I then worked for one of the first ISPs in Japan. This is back in the 90s, late 90s, and so I'm telling my age a bit. That was a wonderful experience. I love starting new organizations, being on the ground level. Can you also share a little bit about your background, how you got into this position?
I would love to share my story. First of all, I grew up in Osaka, but I graduated from Ryukoku University, which is located really close by our campus these days. And I was majoring in international studies, but specifically studied about immigration and economics there. So I had never been abroad until I turned to 19 years old. So like my education background is basically from all the Japanese typical education system. But I got a chance to go to Canada when I was 19 years old for 6 months. And I just studied there for English. So that experience changed my life completely. So after I studied abroad there, I came back here, but I still, connect or have some conversation or communicate with my friends in Canada, or I started making some international friends at the university. And after I graduated the university, I started working for just normal Japanese company, but travel industry. So I just worked there for 3 years. And then I went to Canada again. This time I went to Toronto. So I studied their digital marketing a little bit for a year. And I also did the internship at the very local company, 100% Canadian company. And that working experience is really interesting. And then we also shared the common thing, which is like a business and a marketing. So yes, I did also marketing.
Yeah, I think the more we talk, the more things we have in common. I think this is very... that happens with a lot of international people
Right.
who work for international organizations. I also studied abroad as an undergraduate. I studied in a country called Sierra Leone in West Africa. And that was a life-changing experience for me. And that's one of the reasons I like Temple University, to be in the room, in the presence when people are experiencing, our study abroad students, our Japanese students, our long-term students, when they're really challenging themselves. I think
Right.
that's a critical thing.
How long did you stay there?
I studied in West Africa for 1 year. I did my what we call junior year abroad,
Wow.
and it was a fantastic education. And one of the other things that I say about it is it taught me, of course, a lot. I was studying politics and religion. I was an international relations major, but I also learned an enormous amount about myself, juxtaposing myself to a culture and a people and traditions that were different than mine, a different country. That was really a way to explore myself, and I challenge students at Temple University to do the same.
Sounds very interesting. And would you like to share your a little bit personal life or your hobby, or little personal things?
Yeah, well, there are a lot of things to share, but I think one of the things that I do. So I mentioned that I lived in Tokyo for many years, for decades. And one of the things that I started doing there, and I continue even more so, I moved to Kyoto 6 months ago. So still very new.
Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to begin to learn Kansai Ben and
yes.
Kyoto Ben.
Welcome.
And explore the food, explore all the things that are available here. And the way I do that is walking. So I love to walk around. Kyoto is such a walkable city. And when I say I love to walk, I'm walking I would say minimum 10 kilometers per day. And sometimes I do these extreme walks up to 100 kilometers
Wow.
in less than 24 hours, maybe 22 hours, almost nonstop. And that is just a way for me, it's a great pace to really see and explore. I love architecture, not just the traditional architecture or the famous contemporary architecture, the buildings that people actually work in and live in, how it changes from block to block. I can really get a sense of that as I'm walking around the city. So around the TUJ campus, as you mentioned, is in Fushimi and very close to Fujinomori Station. So walking around there, and all the things that are near in this kind of the southern part of the city. And I live up near Tofukuji, walking around in that area and walking all the way up Kamagawa to the north and all the way down toward Uji is a wonderful thing for me. And actually, I was walking around Kyoto and visiting Kyoto more and more over the last couple of years. And I actually was in Kyoto when TUJ began this idea of looking, and so I was one of the first people to see our campus in Kyoto.
That's great. That's great. I would like to share my travel experience as well, because I actually work a lot when I travel. Because I really like solo travel. And before I came back here in Japan, I did solo travel in Europe for 3 weeks. And that was the longest solo travel I have ever done. So that was really challenging for me. But it was really a great trip because I went to very rural area of Spain and France. And those countries are even non-English speaking countries. But still, I enjoyed with conversation with locals. And also, I walked a lot as well. Not 100 kilometers, but maybe 20, 30 kilometers per day, I think. And then I also love I can see how locals are living there. I really like that experience and see their life, culture, and feel cultural differences. That was really great part. And then one more thing I would like to share with you guys, the audience, is that my English background. Because I'm working here for, Temple University Japan campus, Kyoto. But when I was a university student, I couldn't speak English at all. To be honest with you guys, at all. So I just went to Canada and then jumped into the community or making friends from local people. So that made my life changed a lot in many ways, of course in a good way. So working around and then exploring, the local area is very nice. So I would like to share those experiences with our students in Kyoto too, for sure.
Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity when you have the chance to meet new people who have different backgrounds.
Absolutely, yes.
But what I've learned over the years is, as much as there is difference, there is so much in common. Mm-hmm. And so
that's very true.
And so I like to talk to people and not just to find out what's different, but really to find out what we have in common, our common humanity. And I think that's a great point of diversity, and we see that a lot in Temple University. Mm-hmm. Tell me, how did you first get connected with Temple?
This is a little bit interesting story because I didn't Temple University at all. Because we didn't have a campus in Kyoto too, but the HR company emailed me because I was looking for a job at that moment, and they emailed me, "Hi, this position is open, so are you interested in?" I was like, "Yes, this is perfect position for me." So that's why I checked the website, and then I definitely can be a great fit for this position. So that was my first connection to TUJ. What about you? What was the first connection, or what is also the first impression of TUJ?
Well, I knew about Temple University. As I mentioned, I'm from New York.
Right.
And some of my relatives are from Pennsylvania and Philadelphia. And so
wow.
some of my cousins graduated from Temple University.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Okay, great.
So it's a very famous school, especially on the East Coast. So I of course knew about Temple University. And then I came here and I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to stay, if I was going to go back, if I maybe moved to Europe or Australia or Africa, I didn't know. But I wanted to get a graduate degree. And by this time, I had already been working for about 10 or 15 years. And just as I moved here, Temple University was expanding, even back then. And they were launching an executive MBA program. And I became, in the first group of students, the first cohort of that executive MBA program. And that program allowed me to learn more about handling businesses, doing businesses, expanding myself. But it also, toward the end, they said, what do you want to do next? And I come from a family of educators. And so I said to the then director that, one day I want to work in executive education. And when he decided that he wanted to go back to Philadelphia, he called me up and said, although I had not at that point worked at university, they wanted me to consider being a director of the program from which I had graduated because I knew the student side of the
Right.
program. I also knew marketing and not-for-profit management. And so it was a dream job for me. Back then, I had never stayed at one organization for more than 5 or 6 years. And now
now you're here for how many years?
I've been at the university for over 20 years.
Wow, that's
Yes.
great. I can see how much you love TUJ or Temple University, I would say. Yes.
Yes.
So what do you like about TUJ?
I think I like, as I mentioned, I'm from a family of educators, so I like being in an educational environment. So TUJ is a learning community. Whether someone is on the faculty or they are in administration, whether they are recruiting students, everyone is an educator.
Yes.
And so that being in that environment, also being in an environment where students from so many different places are challenging themselves, I find that very invigorating and inspiring. So that happens so much at Temple University, Japan, that it's really a great environment for me. How do you feel about our community?
I totally agree with you, but at the same time, I really like TUJ has multicultural environment, or obviously like a very international environment. So that's why the campus, or I would say like university itself, is accepting who you are, because everyone is different. Everyone has a different cultural background or different languages, and different education histories. Like everyone is different, but that's okay. That's the atmosphere or attitude of our university, I feel. So I really love that environment.
Yeah, I'd like to add one thing to that. We have many people, there's an expression, third culture kids or third culture families, and many of the faculty and the people who work at Temple University are like that. One example, the person who's the head of at our Tokyo campus, so the head of our business and technology department, he's a great friend of mine. He's from Lebanon. His wife is from Central America. Their children have only lived in Japan. And one of them was even a student at
Right,
TUJ.
yeah.
This is a wonderful way to think about the types of people who come to TUJ. There's a lot of difference even inside of the individuals.
Exactly. Yes, I love that part. Yes. What do other people like about TUJ? Did you hear about like others' opinions?
Yeah, when I talk to people who are considering TUJ and when I talk to the students, I think it's a place where we have very active education. So I think when you maybe compare us to some other places, the students just sit in the classroom and listen, and then they take exams, and write papers. But in my classes, in all departments, the students are very active. They participate. And that's research shows that the best way to understand new ideas, new principles, is to be able to talk about them, to be able to teach them, to be able to engage in the material. And I think that that's one of the things that I hear from outsiders about what they think about and what they appreciate about the liberal arts education that we have at Temple University. You talk with a lot of high school people, counselors, teachers, students. What impressions do you get about the outside view of Temple University?
Yeah, many people are interested in our international environments for sure. But at the same time, as you said earlier, they are really impressed our passion for the education. So all the staff members, not only for students and faculty members, but also staff and also including dean, of course, everyone is so passionate for the education, and that they have like their own like opinion, or like I love TUJ because, right? Like they do have the reason why we are working for this university. So they really like that atmosphere, or like feelings, passionate, like enthusiastic. So that's a feeling I feel like from the others. So yeah, so currently, like these days, what are you working on?
Well, one of the things that I mentioned, one of my passions is starting new programs. So on the undergraduate level, we're starting a program, or we started in January, the Global Leadership Academy. And this is very dear to my heart because, again, it gives the students, the young people at Temple University, a chance not only to learn about the theory, but to practice. So, we have very, very deep conversations in class about what it means to be a leader, what our own personal values are, what are the community values, and what does leadership look like on a global level. So at those three levels, we're looking at personal, community, and global.
Sounds really interesting. Okay.
But I don't want it just to be discussion, so I charge the students with actually, leadership is about building communities. And so we're a community of students, so I want them to start a club. I want them to start an activity. I want them to be able to budget, to really bring people in to have an idea and think about what it means to get people to follow their idea. This is that way they understand the practice of leadership, not just the theories of leadership. So that is a really passion project of mine.
Right, yeah, I was gonna say that, yes. That's interesting, okay.
In your department, do you have things that you're particularly working on?
I'm working on, of course, recruiting for the high school students and high school visit and open campuses. But also at the same time, I got so many inquiries for working with TUJ together, kind of like a collaboration project too. So I am working on one or two high schools in Kyoto and Osaka right now, but I would like to expand that kind of program or activity in the future too.
Yeah, that's a great thing about TUJ. We have lots of partnerships, whether it's partnerships with high schools or other colleges, with radio stations, with Kyoto City, Kyoto Prefecture, other prefectures, and the students doing internships. I think that kind of interaction and engagement with the community is something that I'm very proud of about Temple University.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Would you like to share the programs we are offering in Kyoto?
So I am also very proud. So my other position is starting a graduate level program. And so we are having a program that is a Master's of Science in Communication Management. And I describe this as a mashup between management and leadership. And so, as I mentioned, I have a background in communications and marketing. And so I want to help people understand themselves, understand how they can be more effective leaders, understand how they can promote their own companies and promote their own selves. And so we see this as a transformative program. You don't have to have any background in business or communications or leadership to get into the program, but you have to have a vision of where you want to go in your career. And so that's a wonderful program that we are launching. The first students will start soon, and that program will grow over the next couple of years.
For sure.
I think that you're working with some new programs as well.
Yes, the TUJ Kyoto offers an undergraduate program for sure. And also we have AEP, which is stand for Academic English Program. And also our student engagement activities as well. Our student engagement department is working on our student activities, which means going to the local areas or we actually went to USJ last semester, and activity that was really fun because I went there together with the students. And yes, we are offering those programs, and yes, I'm pretty sure we are going to expand and more in the future. So do you have any future vision or plans?
Yeah, I think I keep repeating the same thing. I like building things. I like things that start from scratch. And that's why it was such an exciting opportunity for me to grab onto, to move to Kyoto, to move to the TUJ Kyoto campus. And so I see myself as building a community here, building a community of educators, of students, of people who are really going to be involved with TUJ for many, many years in the future. What's your idea? What's your future?
My future vision is really similar as yours, but I like to providing more international involvement to the local high school students, especially in Kansai, because we came here in Kansai, in Kyoto. So it's a great opportunity for them to get to know about what American education is, or what education system looks like, or what kind of experience people can get from the American university, but still in Japan. So I'm really excited to, providing those unique experiences specifically to the locals.
Excellent. And how can people, connect with you and connect with Temple University? Let me start off. I'll say that I try to do my best on social media, and one of the things I like to do is Instagram. So I'll post
Please
a picture
share.
of this. Yes. And so I grew up on a street called Clinton Avenue, and so my handle on Instagram is Swinton Avenue. You remember my name is William Swinton, so SWINTONAVENUE, Swinton Avenue. Please check me out on Instagram.
Yes, please. And also we do have the official TUJ Kyoto Instagram account. And please reach out to us maybe over the phone or email address, or please feel free to show up to our campus. We would love to do the campus tour for you guys. Anytime.
I always like opportunities to talk about Temple University Japan campus, especially the Kyoto campus.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.